I'm holding, I have diamond hands, and I want to hold this investment for a long period of time, right? And I'm looking at it like, okay, it's not bringing me in money right now. I'm not trading it. I'm not doing any of those things. Now, how can I take advantage of it while still holding?
It's a good question. So the wealthy, they invest in assets called trophy assets, right? So pretty much what that means is that they find an asset that's scarce, and an asset that has a lot of demand for it. Let's say, for example, a beachfront property in California. There's not a lot of real estate like that, right? So they find that and they invest in those, and then they leverage those assets. How do they do that? They borrow against the asset.
Mm.
So for Bitcoin, you can do that. You can use a Bitcoin as collateral, and you can actually borrow against it. So there are companies in the space that do that. And I'm not going to get into too much details of how the companies work, but I'm going to give you a high level.
Mm.
And then, the audience could dig into that themselves to figure out what makes the most sense for them.
Right.
So there's a company called BlockFi. And what they do is they allow you to put your Bitcoin up as collateral. And they have different loan to values. So let's say 50% loan to value, you put up a certain amount, they give you X amount of dollars back, and they hold the Bitcoin for you. And you can use that cash for whatever you want. But whenever I speak, I always want to be very mindful
Right.
of information, right?
Disclaimers.
So yeah, so there's no investment advice. I'm not telling you what to do with your Bitcoin. I'm just telling you what you can do,
Right.
right? So personally, unless you're gonna borrow against a Bitcoin and use that money to go and put it in another asset, which is what the wealthy do, they'll borrow against their trophy assets.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll put it in another asset to generate more money, and they'll just keep recycling, rinse and repeat that process. So Bitcoin for the last 10 years, as we talked about, has appreciated over 200% for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can figure out, okay, it's appreciated at 200%, I can get a loan from it, I can borrow from it, get some cash, and maybe the interest rate is whatever, 9%, whatever the interest rate is, it is. You're still going to win if you can figure out how to take that cash and put it in another asset that appreciates more than the interest that you're paying, right? So like, for example, you could take the money out and you could put it into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Rental income from the real estate could pay back the loan, and most of these loans are interest-only loans,
Mm-hmm.
so you're only paying the interest.